Hey everybody, so this is going to be the introductory video for our comprehensive review class that you'll have this summer. Now, if you look online or if you're signing up for classes, this might show up as RADT 4942. I think most of the specialty classes that you take in the radiography program up at Weber, they have what they call a transition to practice, and that's what this class is. So it's going to look like a radiology class, but it is a nuclear medicine class. And if you're signed up and it shows up that way, it's still our class. So just be aware of that. But we call it comprehensive review, and we're going to go over and review with this class and basically try to get you ready for the boards and kind of do a comprehensive review of the program. So what I'd like to do is just kind of jump into the syllabus and jump onto Canvas and kind of show you everything there. Summer semester, again, is a shortened semester. It's about half of what you're used to having. And so we want to be able to get you started right away. And so that's the reason I'm doing this introductory video is so that there's some things that you'll want to start working on right away in preparation for other portions and things that we'll do in this class, including your on-campus visit that we'll do in June. So let me share my screen and we'll get going here. Okay, so I got this set to student view. So when you pull in, your course should look like this. Again, notice up here you've got RADT 4942. If you see that, don't worry, you're not in a radiology class. So when you get onto the page, I'll have this module right here for an introduction video. That's the video that you're currently watching. So obviously, if you are watching this video, you found that, and I'm currently making it right now. Next, I have the syllabus listed. And so we'll go through that first, and then we have quite a few other things listed on this page, but let's get through the syllabus and that will start to explain some of it. Sorry, I've got something going on with my throat today. All right, let me make this a little bigger. Okay, so like I mentioned, this is the syllabus for RADT 4942, which is our comprehensive review class. I am your instructor. Shauna is going to tag team with me as an instructor on this course. Shauna does a really good job at getting you guys a bunch of test banks that you can use to just see test questions to prepare you for the boards. And so she's going to help with that. When we do our boards review class where we're on campus, she'll be attending with us as well. So, and she's just awesome with all her knowledge and everything she has to bring to this class. It's just, I'm really grateful to have her. So it'll be good. All right, so I'm gonna start out with just looking really quick at these course assignments, and then we'll go with kind of how the class will go. This course has 6 exams that you're going to take. The first 4 are going to come from our Bolus Review of Nuclear Medicine Technology book, which is this book here. Okay, this will be the book that's required for this course. And in the back of the book, so this book reviews all of the nuclear medicine stuff in a really simplified form, which is great. And then the really good thing is at the back, I think there's 8 or 9 of these practice tests that are 100 questions each. And so they have the tests and then they have the answers with them. And so it's really awesome. What I'm requiring of you, even though there's, I think, 9 tests in there, I'm going to require you to take the first 4 of those tests. So that's what I have listed here. And I'm just going to do the first 4. I'm going to encourage you, and I'll repeat this in class as we go on, but I want you to try to get through them all. But in terms of this summer semester being short, I'm only assigning you with this class the first 4. Then you'll also have 2 mock exams. These are going to be on-campus quizzes. These are 2 exams that are 200 questions each. These are meant to mock your board exams exactly. So those we'll talk more about those later. Shauna will also give you some information, probably in the form of an announcement on this Canvas, on what to expect from those and what she wants you to do. If I understand right, and again, I don't want to take from her, I'll let her explain it more, but We're going to have you take one of those tests at the beginning of the course here to kind of assess where you're at. You'll be doing test corrections for that one. And then the second one, we're going to have you take at the end to kind of see how you're doing. Okay. So the third kind of assignment is the ARRT Registry Review Study Note and Presentation. That is in a module on Canvas. I'm going to go over that with you today so you can get started on that. And that's what the main bulk of what we'll do when you come to your on campus on the 5th and the 6th, okay? So looking at our calendar here that's included with the syllabus, the first week of May, which is basically tomorrow's the 5th, which is when I'll be posting these so you guys can start out. But the introduction video, which is what you're watching right now, is on Canvas. I'm reviewing the syllabus. I'm going to discuss the registry review presentations, and I'm going to discuss your assignments for those. We're going to talk about the bolus exams, the mock exams, and math quizzes. So I'll kind of go all over that now. Then on June 5th, we're going to have our on-campus meeting for the 5th and the 6th. I don't think I put that on here. So Shane Clampett should have sent you guys out an email or a message that contains everything you need to know for those meetings. I believe on June 5th that we're going to be starting in the morning at 8 o'clock. There's a slot right now for our quality assurance class, which I'm teaching you. And then in the afternoon, we start on these registry review presentations that we're going to go over now. And we can continue on to those through the next day. So we'll talk about that. And then I've got down here kind of what to expect after that review class on campus. You'll be finishing up your bolus exams 1 through 4. You can do 5 through 8 on your own. So I guess it's 8 exams. And then I've got some math worksheets that I'm offering for extra credit. I'll talk about that. And then our mock exams on campus. And so I've just put a point value here in terms of your grade so you know what to expect. I'm going to give you 20 points for each of the completed bolus exams. You'll have 400 points for your content specifications, presentation, and study notes, which is what you'll do when we meet on campus, or what you'll present when we meet on campus. You'll have 200 points each for 2 of the mock board exams. We're going to give half a point for test corrections on exam 1. And then I give 10 points extra credit for each completed math worksheet. There are 5 available for you to complete if you would like. And then at the very bottom, I just listed kind of our course materials, which is, of course, our module is going to be a big part of that. And then I already talked to you about the bolus book that you'll get for this class. Okay. Okay. So let me get out of here and let's go through some of the stuff here on Canvas so you can kind of know where to get everything. And we'll talk about these presentations that you'll give at our registry review. So before I get into the specifics of what I expect and what I want for these presentations that we're going to be doing, you notice right here, this highlight says registry review notes and presentation. The first thing I actually want to show you is what's called the ARRT content specifications. So the ARRT puts out a document and they revise it every few years. The last time that they put it out was in 2022. And so this tells you essentially the content that is in their exams. And so it doesn't give like super specifics, but it lists all the general topics of things you need to know and things you'll be tested on in their exam. And so this is what we kind of use to guide us through this course and to guide our presentations and the things that we'll discuss when we do our on-campus meeting. And it's going to guide this assignment that I have for you that's coming up. So I want to cover this first so that when I cover the assignment here in a couple of minutes, you kind of know what I'm talking about, what we're looking at. So it starts out with some information at the top. I'll let you read that if you want. But what I want to point out on this first page is it tells you that you're going to get 200 questions on your exam. And it breaks them out to what categories they're going to be in. What I want you to know, so there's patient care, safety, image production, and procedures. What I want you to notice on here is that procedures is 118 of the questions. So a huge part of what you do on your boards is going to be knowing those procedures. 33 questions on image production. So that's a lot of our instrumentation class, physics instrumentation. And then safety, which is like radiation physics, radiobiology, regulations, standards, things like that. Some of that we'll be going through this semester in our quality assurance. And then patient care, which for the most part, the patient care section is relatively generic. A lot of you are certified in radiography and other things, and so it's going to be stuff that you're familiar with, that you know, like patient vitals and management and patient interactions, things like that. So that's the content. That's what they put in here. If you go further down in this document, then it breaks it up into the categories. So, we started here with patient care. And if I go down a little further, then it breaks up patient care into the sections of what you should know. So, for example, number 1, patient care interactions and management. Section A, ethical and legal aspects. And then it goes through things like HIPAA and all understanding things like advanced directives and all that kind of stuff. Legal issues, right? So then it talks about those and different legal issues that you can run into with patient care. AART standard of ethics. Then it also covers interpersonal communication, ergonomics, medical emergencies. So this just shows you the kind of things that they're expecting and that will be on your exam when you sit for the board. So that's patient care. Patient care continues. So there's infection control, pharmacology, handling of toxic materials, CDC precautions, droplet contact, airborne, all those kinds of things. So again, this is all under the patient care umbrella. And then it comes to safety. First section is radiation physics and radiobiology. So principles of radiation physics, like decay and atomic structure and half-life and parent-daughter relationships, and the types of CT interactions like Bremsstrahlung and characteristic, the photoelectric effect, Compton, scatter, pair production, all these things we went over in physics and instrumentation. And it gets to the biological effects of radiation, all the types of things that you can expect there. So anyway, this just gives you an idea. So concepts of radiation protection. So this is all under safety, right? Go down, so there's medical events, facility areas, monitoring of radioactive areas, right? Signs, things like that. A lot of these things we cover in our QA class this semester as well. Radioactive materials, DOT, shipping, nuclear regulatory commission regulations, all that kind of stuff, okay? So that's all, that's all in safety. Then you get down to image production. So image productions. Now look, we've got survey meters, how they operate, understanding the quality control, dose calibrator, same thing, scintillation detector systems, which is how your gamma camera works, gas or aerosol systems, gamma camera, a long big section here. As it goes on with image production, they've got PET on here, understanding PET, understanding data processing, general imaging informatics like RIS and HIS and EMRs and DICOM and PACS and all that kind of stuff, right? So some of the stuff you already know. Then we get down to procedures, which, remember, procedures was that biggest section with 118 questions. Sorry, my voice is trash today. So you notice here, it starts off with radionuclides and radiopharmaceuticals that you learned in your pharmaceutical class, and the types, how they're produced, and the characteristics and how they localize in the body, and preparation and administration of kits and things like that. So that starts off your procedures section. Then you start getting into actually some of the exams we do. So here's cardiac procedures, and what you'll notice here, and I told you when we were doing class this last semester, I cover the things that are on boards. Well, there's exams that you can do in nuclear cardiology that I didn't cover. Why? Because look at what's on the board. We covered gated blood pool. We covered myocardial perfusion, both in SPECT and PET. We covered viability in SPECT and PET. We covered amyloid imaging, right? So there's what you need to know. Then you get down to endocrine and oncology procedures. So these are all of Brandon's classes that he's doing with you. So there's endocrine, there's thyroid uptake, parathyroid, adrenal, anyway, tumor therapy, bone, whole body, right? So now you're getting a sense of like, here's the stuff you've been doing all the time at clinicals. What I want you to notice here too is when it gets into these procedures, it tells you, okay, it lists gated blood pool right here, but then here's over here on the right, it says these are the types of focus of questions you can have. So instrumentation about doing gated blood pool, the radiopharmaceuticals and dosages and things about a blood pool, patient preparations about doing, whatever exams list over here, imaging techniques, anatomy and pathophysiology, what you can expect to see, and then national standards of what is expected on these exams, right? So this kind of gives you the focus of the question when you see gated blood pool, or you see whatever you see over here, endocrine, thyroid uptake. Well, what here is involved in a thyroid uptake? That's what you should know. And that goes on like that with procedures on other ones as well. So you come down and you've got all your GI studies like gastric emptyings, GI bleeds, HIDA scans, TAG red blood cell scans, renal function scans. Come down further, you've got your bone scans, your abscess scans, your CNS scans, lung scans, lymphocytes, right? And so they're all lined out of basically what you need to know and what is in the boards itself. And then the last page just lists like common radiopharmaceuticals that are used in nuclear medicine. So probably generally know some of those. Okay, so the reason I show you this document is because what we're going to be doing is my assignment that I give you is going to be based off of this document. So let me go over there and you'll get a better idea of what I mean. And again, this document is just listed and you can go into it and take a look at it. Where'd we go? There we go. Under this section of Registry Review Notes presentation. So the next thing we're going to go to then is the main module that you'll look at for this part of the assignment and for what we'll do on the 5th and the 6th. So sorry about my voice, guys. Okay, let's make that big. Okay, so this is our June 5th, 6th on-campus meeting. It's going to be what we're calling the Registry Review presentations, and attendance is mandatory for this because you're going to all be assigned to present. So I've attached your assignments onto this document so you'll be able to reference your individual assignment. The ARRT NUC-MED content specifications are like a roadmap for your study for the exam. That's what I just showed you. They're also a guide for our discussions to assist you in your registry review preparation. So here's what we're going to do for the assignments. So assignment number 1 is you're going to create a presentation. You each will be assigned to give a presentation using PowerPoint or Google Slides, either one's fine, on your assigned section. Each of you will be assigned a section of the document that I just showed you from ARRT. Everyone's assigned a section, and you're going to be responsible for doing a PowerPoint/Google slide presentation. The way I want you to approach this is that you're the expert in the topic, right? So you're going to dig down in and you're going to grab your topic and you're really going to learn it and understand it and make this presentation on it. I want you to familiarize yourself with all the topics and kind of the aspects of whatever you have. Be able to have a discussion if that arises or answer questions. Each of these presentations that you're going to give are going to be about 10 minutes each. Now, as you saw from that document, we have, I think, what did we end up with? 30, I think there's 33 of you and 10 minutes each. And you're each going to have two sections. So that can get long in time. So we're trying to keep these at 10 minutes, so not a big deal. What we don't want, of course, is you to just get up and read your presentation. We want you to be prepared to kind of teach it. The idea behind this portion of this is that there's a level where when you study something on your own, you learn it to a certain degree and you learn it pretty good. And then there's a whole nother level when you have to then teach it to someone else. Having to teach is one of the greatest learning experiences I think I've ever had. And we're trying to help you have that same experience. It's part of that learning process. So having to prepare something to teach it really gets it into your brain. And so we're hoping that you take the topic you're assigned and you prepare in that manner. And then after you've done things for class and things are wrapping up, you are able to take that kind of study and that kind of ability and be able to apply it to all the things you look at on the boards. And if you do that, you will be ready for your boards, guaranteed. So again, just be ready to kind of teach. We're going to be with your fellow classmates, so I know everyone probably is nervous to get up in front of each other, but that's what we're going to do is you're going to be doing those presentations. Now, I do want to say from the outset, I don't want you to stress about how awesome your PowerPoint is. Like, I just want you to have one so you can teach from it. I've had some students that it was like amazing and they were animations and all this crazy cool stuff. And I have other students that it was really simple and a simple bulleted format. I'm not really judging you when I give you your grade. Your grade's not going to be based just solely on how awesome your PowerPoint is. So please don't stress about that. What I want to see is someone who can stand up there and teach me about a topic. That's where the majority of what I give you for your grade will come from. Okay. So the second part of this assignment, that's the first part. The second part is a study guide. So you're going to create a study guide of your assigned section. You're going to include pertinent information regarding your topic as you deem appropriate. This study guide, what we're going to do is it's designed to be something that when you're going through and you're studying this topic deep, you're making these kind of bullet point study guide type things so that when you go back and study for the boards, you've got a quick reference of that information. So it doesn't have to be super detailed, but kind of a bulleted notes type study guide, right? So that you can use it to study for the boards. What you're doing is every one of you is going to be assigned a section of the boards. And so you're all going to make your section of this study guide. And then I'm going to have you hand that in to me. I'm then going to turn around and make that available to all of you. So this will be an awesome way that you'll have a study guide type of notes for the entire boards of all of the ARRT content specifications that you share with each other. Okay, so that's the idea with this. So do a decent job on this, but you don't, it doesn't have to go detail, but just again, like kind of a bullet point study guide of things that you'll look at when you're reviewing for the test. Okay, now that's going to be due Monday, June 2nd, and the reason I have to have a kind of a hard due, you guys know me, I'm not a hard due date kind of guy. But we do need to get that one in, and the only reason for that is because I need to have that by the 2nd, because I have to have a chance to compile that document and put it together so that I can then share it with you guys, okay? So we meet on the 5th and the 6th, so I would like to have that on the 2nd, which is a Monday, and then we meet like that Thursday, Friday. So that's why I have that due, and again, this is one of the reasons why I'm giving you this opportunity. I want to get classes started with a video now, because you're going to need to start working on this presentation and the study guide, because we're here on June 5th and 6th. Okay, so it'll come up pretty quick. I made a note right here that to note for imaging procedures include all of those things that I showed you on the side. I just kind of made a note about it here so you don't forget that that's where you can go for what you're supposed to do. And then after that, we get down into the assignments. So here's how the assignments work. I've got everything broken up just like the content specifications in the ARRT document. So you'll notice it starts with patient care, and in patient care, you've got ethical and legal aspects, and then you've got section A, and then number 1. So that document, you can go in there and you'll find A1. So for example, Joe is assigned on that one. Joe's assigned A1. Okay, so Joe, you'll grab A1 and study out whatever you can find use all of our different textbooks and any information you can use to study up on that topic and do a presentation on that. And so everything will follow down, right? So there's ethical and legal aspects, interpersonal communication, physical assistance and monitoring, and they're all lettered with their appropriate letters and numbers. Some of these, like this interpersonal communication one, it's not just one number because they were smaller sections and they go together. So Curtis, you got B1, 2, and 3. And so I tried to divide these up into things that were as even as I could get them. It's hard because every year I have different number of students and there's a certain number of sections. So I have to do the best I can. So hopefully you all feel okay about that. And I was able to, I tried to be fair and even with what I gave you. But anyway, you'll look at these and you'll find all of your assignments here. So there's patient care, safety, image production, and procedures. And every one of you should have 2 sections, okay? Everyone should have 2 sections. Now, I'm going to tell you right from the get-go, remember that document, and I showed you that under procedures, there was 118 questions, and then under image production, there was 33, safety had, 23? Anyway, it got smaller as it went up. When we do our presentations, I will tell you right now, we're actually going to start in that order. And the reason I've done that is because I've learned from the past that sometimes as we start giving presentations, people can get long-winded, and I try to keep you guys on task. But there's been times where we ran out of time and there was a few, at the end that we couldn't do. I don't want those ones, if we do miss any, we're going to try not to. But if there's ones we miss, I don't want them to be in procedures, right? Because procedures, you got 118 questions, like we need to cover that. So what we're going to do is when we do our presentations, when we meet together, we're going to do them in order of what has the highest question value. So we actually will start with procedures, okay? That means, sorry, Colby, I went alphabetical order, brother, and you're going to be starting us out, so you get that hot seat before everybody's comfortable. I apologize for that. So you'll have radionuclides and radiopharmaceutical A, and so that's where we'll start. So look through here, you'll find 2 sections. So yeah, so there's Colby on that one, and then you'll notice if I come back up, I then started again. I went to imaging procedures, then safety, then patient care. So I think Colby has another one somewhere up through here. Anyway, yeah, imaging production. So they'll kind of go somewhat in that order, and we'll try to get everybody. Everybody will for sure get one. We're going to try to get through everything. That's our goal. I just know better to know that it doesn't always happen that way. So we're gonna get it covered. Okay. All right. So that is the document. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me go back to Canvas now and show you where some of these things can be turned in and get them to me so we can have everything ready for when we meet. So going back to the home section, here we go. So what I would like, you'll notice under this same section where the content specifications were and where the module is that has your assignments, that we have registry review, study notes. These are the assignments. This is where you can click to submit your registry review notes to me, again, by that June 2nd date. I separated these out because I would like them in separate files. I know you each have 2 sections. I don't want them in one document. It makes it really hard for me to try to put that together to give back to you all. So I would like each of your sections to be a separate document. And so I've done separate submissions so that you can do that. What I want you to notice as you go into the submission here, I tried to kind of explain what you're supposed to do here. So if you forget, this is an explanation here. If I'm going to read this, it says you'll create a study guide for your assigned section on the registry review presentations. Include pertinent information regarding your topic as you deem appropriate. Remember, this is your study guide for the boards and will be shared with your fellow students, so do a good job. Study guides are due Monday, June 2nd. The study guides will be compiled by the instructor, that's me, and distributed to all students for the registry review class. Now, this is the important part. Please label your document file exactly as it is written on the registry review module assignment document. So the one where you saw your name next to that, I would like you to label imaging production A1 or whatever section you have. If you can label your document that way, that makes it way easier for me to put these together and be able to give them back to you guys. If I have to like find whose is labeled weird and what, it just makes it very difficult. So please, please, please remember to call your document file what it is listed on that registry review module assignment. And then again, to submit them on 2 separate assignments here. So this is, I wrote this as study notes 1, so whatever your first one is. And then if we go back, let's see, I'll just hit next. There's one for number 2. Actually, I'm just going to show you this way, so it's better. So yeah, here we go. So there's number 1 and number 2. So they're located in assignments, but they're also, I put them on the home page next to the content specifications and the assignment module. Okay, so there's number 1, number 2. So your 2 sections go in there. Please label them as you see on this document here. Okay, so that right now, from my perspective, is kind of what I want you to get started and get focused on, because it comes quick, right? It's going to come June 5th and June 6th. So I know these are big assignments and it's stressful. It's kind of crunch time to get prepared for those boards. And so we're gonna have you go through this process because it's an awesome learning process. And then hopefully you'll be able to apply that with preparing for your boards in general. So try to get through those. Let me explain kind of the rest of what I have on here right now. And then when we meet for our quality assurance on the 15th, I will probably review some of this again. So the other things I have on here listed are the mock board exams. So I've got those listed here. And Shauna may do some updating on these, I'm not sure. And like I said, she will contact you and let you know when she wants you to start on exam 1. But that's where these are located. And she'll be allowing you to do test corrections on exam 1. So there's where you submit your test corrections. And then there's exam 2. And then I also talked to you in the syllabus about, math is a good thing to review for the boards. So what I've done, I thought about doing, math assignments, but I didn't want to give you guys so much that it was just ridiculously overwhelming. So instead what I did is I made some worksheets available for you to work out on your own time when you want to do it. You could even print these out if you want. But I've got some math worksheets, so I'll click in on those and kind of show you those real quick. And so this is worksheet number 1. And so you notice here, like here's your activity, original activity, the radionuclide, how many years has gone by. So just kind of some simple radioactive decay problems that you can work through to just get that equation and all that stuff back in your brain as you review for your boards. Same thing with the next one. So these are similar questions to what you had in our first class, the class at the beginning of the year with physics and instrumentation. So stuff about half-life and giving you some different numbers and different isotopes to do radioactive decay equations, all the stuff that we went over. So there's 5 worksheets here of problems that you can work through. Just kidding. I actually put way more. I put more than 5, didn't I? I put a lot more than 5. Yeah, I put 10 in here. Yeah, I didn't realize I did that many. But hey, there you go. All the math you can take, man. So there's those. And like I mentioned before, I'll do 10 points for each of those. So that actually gives you a lot of opportunity to make some points there. And then the other thing I will show you, if we go back to the home page, is that instead of you doing worksheets and wondering if you got the right problem, and instead of us making an assignment where you turn it in and I try to grade it and do it that way, instead, since this is mostly just a tool for you to use at your leisure for review, what I did is I put a worksheet key. So if you go in here, there's a document that has the answers. And so again, just work through those problems and then you can come in here and check out the answers. So here's the answers for worksheet 1, 2, 3, all the way up through to the 10 worksheets. Okay. So there's answers to them all. So that way you can work through the problem, check out the answer that I've got, compare it to yours, see where things went wrong. And of course, if you have questions, you can talk to me as well. No problem at all. Okay, and then I think, let's see what else do I have on here. I think the last thing that I put on here, well, there's a couple things, but so I put a link right here to my YouTube channel, and I went and I took all of the lectures that we have done this year and I made them open. So you should be able to go into my YouTube channel and find anything I taught you this year and all of the lectures so you can review them. So you just click on the channel link and it'll take you, you can open a link here. I don't know if it will show when I'm, yeah, it will. But that'll take you in and I've got like all the videos I've done this whole year listed for you so you can review them all. Oh, I just clicked on myself basketball. Didn't mean to have that one in there. Well, you can watch an old junior basketball video if you want. So, okay. But anyway, all the videos, the other videos are there for you. I keep clicking on videos accidentally. Okay, so let me go back over to Weaver here. Okay, so that's there for you. And let me go back one more time to our homepage. I tried to just kind of put most of it on the homepage so it's easy to reference. You don't have to search for stuff. But the other thing we have on here, and again, Shauna will give you instruction on this, and I know she's always updating these, but she has all these practice exams that you can do. And I don't think any of these are going to be assigned exams, but they're just exam banks. So you can go in and be like, okay, I need help on my instrumentation. You can go in here and click on it, and it gives you a bunch of board questions that you can test yourself on. So really cool resource. I mean, this is a huge bank of just tons of questions for you to look at. But again, not assigned, but you can look through them. So that's the home page. That's everything on there. Of course, over here on the left with the clicks, you've got syllabus in a different form. If you don't want to click on the document, that's fine. Modules will list kind of the general modules as well. It's kind of redundant, but if you want to go just into your assignments, you can come in here and those register review notes are here. Oh, that's what I want to tell you. With the bolus exams. The bolus exams, like I said, are they're in here. The test is in here, but also the answers are in here. So there's really no way for me to grade what you're doing. So instead, what I do is I just want to know when you've done it. Now, that's on the honor system. I mean, you could tell me you did it and you didn't, and you're the one that has to pass boards. So please go through these. We put in all these steps and all these things to get you prepared. So as you're doing Bolus exam 1 through 4, what I would like you to do is when you've completed it and looked at it, and then you can study it however you see necessary from what you missed and so forth. If you'll come in here and you'll click on one of these exam 1, and then I just have you type in here that, hey, I took the test. Simple as that. Just let me know that you took it, and then I'll go in and I'll give you the 20 points for that. I'll give you the points. Okay. So it's honor system. There's not really another way to do it to have you take those tests, but that's what we're going to do. So under that'll be under assignments where you can submit those, and they're all listed here. So in here you've got, of course, the notes that we need sooner than later, and then all of your Bolus exams are listed here. This is where you can submit the math extra credit. I would like you to do the same thing. There's no real way for me to see you've done it, so it's going to be an honor system thing. So if you'll click on there, it'll have a submission section where you can tell me that you did however many worksheets you did. Just tell me how many worksheets you did, and we'll give you the 10 points per worksheet for those. And then the board exams are listed here too, that you'll relist the tests on here. So those are all there. I believe those are also listed under quizzes. Yep, board reviews there, and then you've got your grades, and then our Zoom will be listed here. Now, actually though, I'm not going to on the 15th. What I'll do is we'll get on for quality assurance, and we're going to talk about this class and that class when we do that. So I actually don't have a Zoom, an actual meeting set up from this class. We'll just talk about everything when we do that quality assurance class. So. All right, I think that covers what I wanted to show you for now. It gets you started. Like I said, I will review some of this again, but I wanted to give you a chance to be right when school starts to get moving on it, because everything is so shortened. And it's a lot to do. I recognize it is a lot to do, but we're going to get you ready for those boards. So, all right, let me stop my sharing, and I think that's all I have. Please let me know if you have any questions, and we'll get things moving. You guys can see the light at the end of the tunnel, almost there. All right, guys. See you later.